so I don't think I will actually need to adjust it. But I know different people may have to adjust it to fit their preferences. Maybe a left-handed shooter that has to shoot out of the right eye, or vice versa. Who knows? But you have that option. So for $200 gun, that is pretty cool. Okay, and their book does list that they have a passive internal drop safety. If you drop it, it shouldn't fire. I don't know if anyone's tested it out there. I'm not going to test it. There's really no need to. I feel confident that it's sufficient. Hi-Point, again, I feel that they made a pretty decent firearm. It is reliable. Yeah, it's ugly and a little bit heavy, but other than that, it is an awesome firearm for the 200 bucks. It does have a chamber observation port. Let's see if you can see that. There's a little hole into the chamber that if there was a loaded round in there, you could see the copper on the metal jacket. That's kind of useful. Mainly, I use that for a concealed carry weapon when I put it on in the morning or whenever, to assure myself that there is a round ready in the chamber for me to fire. Because if you need it, you don't want to dry fire the gun and go, oops, I better rack it real quick. Could cost you your life. So it is kind of useful just to assure that there is a round in there. Honestly, as far as a safety precaution, I don't think that's really necessary. You should always be handling a firearm in a safe manner, pointing it in a safe direction. I don't think you really ever have to look to see if there's one in the chamber. Using the observation port, you would normally drop the magazine, rack it back a few times, and look that way to make sure there's nothing in there. But nevertheless, it does have that feature. It's, kind of useful. It does have an accessory rail on it. However, it is proprietary, meaning that it's only going to fit Hi-Point tactical lasers. But you do have a little bit of an option out there. Their lasers, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks you can get on there. It kind of looks ugly as well. But I've never shot with it, but it looks like it will get the job done. It's just a red laser though. So, now could you fit your own on there? I doubt it. Because it is proprietary, but you could always rig it up possibly to kind of go on there, but most likely it would be kind of hokey and awkward looking. So it's not something you'd be likely to do. The instruction manual now says that you're going to clean the barrel out every 300 to 400 rounds. So you're going to run your brush and your cotton swabs through it and get it clean. And it kind of tells me that cleaning isn't crucial to the workings of this gun. I'm not saying don't clean it. I'm just saying that you can put quite a few rounds through it and not worry about it jamming on you. I mean, some guns you might have to clean every 50 rounds. This is a cheap gun, but believe me, it is reliable. It will keep feeding. So 300, 400 rounds is pretty good. And they actually say you don't need to break it down during this period. You're just going to break down or field strip every 1,500 to 2,000 rounds, which isn't bad. Now to field strip this weapon, which I'm not going to do today, but you would drop the magazine, make sure it's not loaded, and once you have the slide back, you're going to push the safety up in that little groove, and it's going to expose a little pin there, and you would put a 1/8 inch punch through it and just push that pin out. Once the pin is punched out, you're going to release the slide, and then you pull back on it and then lift the back end of it up, and it comes right off. So not as easy as Glock or the Springfield XDs and other guns. H&Ks, I believe, are pretty easy to, or at least maybe that's SIG, that's pretty easy to field strip. But nevertheless, a lot of firearms you do actually have to punch a pin through before you can take it apart. The Ruger SR9's like that, so I really don't feel it's any more complex to field strip than an SR9. A little more slow than a Glock, but the bottom line is, according to the instruction manual, you don't actually have to clean it very often. So if you are out in the field in a, I don't know, kind of an environment where you have to use your pistol to defense, I don't know if law enforcement would really use this gun, but the point is, you can shoot quite a few rounds through it before you have to worry about cleaning it. So cleaning it out in the field wouldn't really be an issue. And the other thing I do want to point out is, depending on how you take the slide off, sometimes different parts will fall out. So if you did that outside an environment like this, you could probably kiss those parts goodbye, and you would have to order new ones, have them replaced, because it'd fall on the ground, you'd never find them. So I do recommend doing it inside in a clean environment where if something does fall, you know, you hopefully can find it. Just something to think about. And I guess I will point out, since it is almost 4 pounds, 45.4 ounces, if you're out of rounds, heck, you could use this as a baton to hit someone, and you know what, that would really hurt. And I know it sounds crazy, and really it's probably unlikely to ever have to use this gun in that manner, but it is an option. Heck yeah, it would hurt. And you could use it maybe as a non-lethal method if you need to kind of squelch a situation where you don't want to use lethal force. You never know. And lastly, it is plus P rated, so it is gonna handle the high pressure hot rounds, so that's cool. You don't have to really worry about getting specific ammo. Any good 45 ACP ammo that you want to use, you should be able to use in this gun, and that is awesome. Now on to philosophies of use, and what I mean by that is, how do I think that this gun is going to be used? And I've already mentioned some aspects of it. I do not think it's going to be a concealed carry option. Again, any full-sized caliber pistol, even a Glock, is going to be hard to carry and conceal every day. Full-size pistols are big and bulky and somewhat heavy. Even on more expensive brands, it's going to be hard to do. I've seen it done before, but it's not likely. Now, particularly with its Hi-Point 45 weighing, pushing 4 pounds, you're really not going to want to carry that during a routine day at the office or wherever you're going, because it's going to weigh you down. It's bulky, it's going to get in the way of bending down, sitting down, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it could be done, but not very easily. And I would say that for more than 99% of people, it's just not an option to conceal carry. Again, if you're out in the woods like I am now, you could conceal it on a hip holster on the outside. You know, assuming you have a coat on, that's an option. A chest holder, or excuse me, a shoulder holster would also be an option. But I think that as far as what I think this would be used for, it is going to be a gun that's going to be used outside during hikes, protecting your household at home. You know, you could keep it by your bed, keep it out in the garage. I talked to some people who said that they put it in their four-wheeler when they go cruising around the woods, you know, in case they have to use something. And because it is only $200, it is kind of a throwaway gun, so to speak. You don't have to worry about damaging it so much. Not that I would have just abused the heck out of it and expect it to still work, but, you know, God forbid I lost it, dropped it in water, I wouldn't feel too bad about it compared to my Glock that is my concealed carry weapon. And real quick, I am going to show you the gun that is a good concealed carry option. And this is a Glock Model 23. It's actually a compact size 40 caliber. So we're kind of comparing apples to oranges at this point. But I'm just giving you an idea that this Glock right here is probably about the biggest gun that you would want to carry concealed with. So you can definitely tell how the Hi-Point 45 is a lot bigger, as with any 45 caliber option. And no, I'm not going to safety check my Glock because it is actually loaded. I'm out in the woods here, but keep in mind I was putting it in safe direction, so don't freak out on me about that. And you know what, this gun is reliable. I don't care, it's only $200. It's reliable. It keeps feeding the rounds I put through it, firing every single time, so you don't have to worry about that. Definitely, I envision myself when I go on hikes out in the woods, I'm going to carry this with me, like I have today. Of course, I was shooting today, but you know what, if an animal, coyote or black cat or whatever came up, I would feel pretty confident that's going to protect me. Well, what about a bear? I know a lot of guys ask, oh, you know, is this a good pistol to shoot a bear with? Well, honestly, for a bear, you want about as big of a gun, like a rifle mainly, that you can get. And typically shotguns and rifles are going to be used to take down bears. So I'm not going to say that this is going to be excellent to do that with, but I think that you could take down a black bear with this. Now those huge Kodiak bears in Alaska, ooh, who knows? There's cases where, or there was one case where a guy was killed by a Kodiak bear in Alaska. He had a .38 special revolver on him, which of course is smaller than a .45, but he put 3 rounds on the bear, and I guess it didn't even penetrate its coat. So now that's an exception. Now I have heard of black bears getting shot and killed with 9mm, which is again going to be smaller than the .45. So it is an option to take down a bear. If you are in bear country though, I would not take it, or I would not rely on it anyways. You would want something like maybe at least a .44 Magnum, preferably a rifle or a shotgun. But again, who knows, you know, if one just comes out of nowhere while you're riding the four-wheelers around, you have something that you at least stand a pretty good shot at protecting yourself with. Of course, certainly with black bears, you can often avoid them, and if you can try to do so, definitely do so. And you know, this is not even a bad gun to let kids practice with. Of course, under supervised conditions, obviously. I'm not saying give your 6-year-old a gun, let them go out, but maybe, you know, your 12, 13, 16-year-olds that want to move up to a .45 caliber pistol, you can let them shoot with it, and you don't have to worry so much if they're going to be getting dirt inside of it. It's not your $2,000 1911 that you're going to baby. So it is pretty awesome. You know what, the money, if money is tight and you can't afford any other gun, heck yeah, get one for $200. And even if it's not tight, hey, get one. You know, it's a great backup to have around just in case. It's a great gun that you can take out and not worry about what happens to it as far as, you know, getting dirt inside of it or dropping it in the water. You know, it's cheap, but it is actually durable. I still want to point out that it is durable. Every round so far has gone through it. And that, again, is the most important part of a gun. Is it going to function when you need it to function? And so far, it has not let me down. A little bit ugly, a little bit heavy, perhaps a lot heavy, but it is an excellent handgun for $200. So check them out. You know, great gun to add to your collection if you don't have a .45 already, or you just want to have a little cheaper gun to have. I personally think that it's a good investment. I feel that maybe in the next couple years, when Hi-Point becomes a little bit more popular, the gun prices will go up. So maybe in 5 years you could resell it for maybe about the same price, if not a little bit more, that you paid for it. And should economic situations get much worse, who knows, it might be a great bartering item. So I feel it definitely is a great investment. For $200, go out and get one. I like it a lot, and it is growing on me, and it is becoming a little bit more attractive to me. It's not looking so ugly as when I first held it and set my eyes on it. So definitely check one out. Let me know what you think of this review, and if you have anything to add to it, please do so. But keep comments respectable, because I've been informed where people are just total dickheads, and there's no point in that. It's not necessary to be that way. But I'm out. Have fun. Happy shooting. Safe shooting.